Well,
So,
we are
yeah, I
on.
think we're right on time. So let's get
Yes.
started. Well, hi, I'm Mary Beth Harrison with the Dallas Native Team, and welcome to our Facebook Live. Today, we're talking about my favorite topic, and that's my city. That's Dallas. I'm born and raised here. I know I've talked about that before, and yes, I'm a little prejudiced. I'll admit it. I am a little prejudiced about Dallas, but you're going to love it here. It's just there is so much to do, and that's what we're going to talk about today because all of us are ready to get out. I think we've all had all the fun we could stand inside our four walls, and now we're ready to get out and enjoy life again. But now the question gets to be, but what do we do? Where do we go? We don't want to travel. We don't want to have to go anywhere. And so what I want to share with you today, Candace has put together a phenomenal book, which we put a link on the end of the chat. And by the way, if you do have any questions, please go to the chat box, not the question and answer, but the chat box, and we'll stop and answer any questions that you have. But Candace has put together a phenomenal book, and she's put the link in the chat so that you can go and get it, retrieve it. You can share it, whatever it is. When I tell you it is chock full of everything Dallas, and when I say Dallas, you know that I'm talking about the entire DFW area, Arlington, Frisco, South Lake, all of it. We're talking about all of it, but I just collectively call it Dallas. So, Candace, I'm going to let you share the screen, share your screen, and we'll get started here.
All right. Do you guys see that? Do you see it, Mary Beth?
Yeah, I can see it. Right. So, experience Dallas. All right, let's get started. So, this is what's in here. So, we've got here to entertain you, explore like a native, travel through time, embrace the culture, fun fair, great outdoors, everything's in here. So let's just click it on through and let's get started. So I divided this up into kind of large chunks. So we've got the Arts District, and we're going to talk about each of these a little more thoroughly. Bishop Arts District, Deep Ellum, which I love it when there was Deep Ellum Cafe for forever, and that's what they called it back in the 20s when it started. And I think it was in Frisco or McKinney or somewhere where they opened up a second one. And I said, "Do you see a street anywhere around you named Elm?" We've had that for a really long time. Anyway, so go ahead.
Sure.
So we've got downtown, uptown, West End. So we're going to talk about all of this. So let's just keep on going because we break these down. First of all, how to get around town. If you want just something fun and different to do, hop on the trolley. I love our trolley. My dad, when I was a little girl, my dad took the trolley downtown to work almost every day. And the trolley tokens were little round things with a square in the center cut out, and that was the trolley token. Well, when they were redoing the lines along McKinney, redoing the streets, they started digging up the rail lines and realized that the rail lines were still intact, and so they resurrected the trolley, and it goes up and down from downtown, parts of downtown, really just this side of the Arts District. And there's a map, good, and it goes all the way down through down McKinney and Cole, and then swings around and comes back somewhere around Blackburn. I think it makes its turn and comes back around. There's specific stops. So, and it's free. You can hop on and hop off. It's got the old bell that you ring, what you used to ring to get off if you've ever been on an old trolley, that tells the driver that you're going to be getting off. And so they're very specific stops. They won't stop anywhere but those stops, but you can certainly walk forwards or backwards to wherever you want to go. Takes you to West Village. It takes you to restaurants, takes you to shopping, takes you down to the water gardens downtown. It's just a fun thing to do. So yes, let's keep going. So the DART rail, I also think this is a fun thing to do. If you've not taken the DART rail, honestly, it's just a fun thing to do. For me, it's like another ride to the fair. which, by the way, the DART rail will take you to the mouth of the fair. So right at the entrance of the fair. So when it's time for the state fair, you can hop on the DART rail. You never have to park a car. You get on, you get off. It takes you right where you need to go. And the DART rail takes you way north. It takes you all the way up into Plano. Probably the edge of, maybe not the edge of Frisco yet, although they're certainly extending all of those lines. It takes you out to Garland. It takes you over to Irving. So the DART rail is quite spread out now and great usage. Did you know it also takes you to the front door of the Dallas Zoo? So just maybe a fun day would be to hop on the DART rail and take it to the Dallas Zoo and go enjoy the Dallas Zoo for the day. Or when it's time for the state fair, take it down there, or just anywhere else. It's just, like I said, it's just like another ride to me. So you park and go. It's free to park anywhere. All the DART rail lines are all the way up and down. Some of them are park and ride. Some are what we call kiss and ride, meaning you drop your partner off, you kiss them goodbye, they get on the train, they go to work, they come back, you pick them up, and they go. So there's no parking there. So some of these are what we are the park and ride, and some are what we call kiss and ride. So you just need to make sure where you want to go and where you want to park. Moving along. I love the DART rail. So, all right, explore Dallas like a native. There is so much to do in this city. If you like museums, we're full of them. If you like outdoor kind of stuff, we're full of it. So let's just dive in here. These are some of the things that are available to be seen. And we're going to talk about some of these as we go through as well. So like the Arboretum, the City Hall is an iconic structure, and at City Hall is the Dallas Cattle Drive sculpture, which is also an iconic sculpture. And so the Arboretum, you could spend hours at the Arboretum. They have a whole children's section, which is just fabulous. Going to the Arboretum at Christmas is an absolute treat. That's like a Christmas tradition. But going there during the spring or in the fall when all the fall flowers are out, the Arboretum is just a joy. It's just a joy. It's on the edge of White Rock Lake. So you've got the views of the lake, you've got the Arboretum. It's just, and then on Thursday nights, they do music at the Arboretum. So they have all kinds of outdoor music entertainment on Thursday nights during the spring and summer. So,
and their pumpkin patches during the fall.
Yeah, their pumpkin patches also. Every season is just like a little treasure trove, you know, it's just, yeah, I love the Arboretum. All right, so I got hung up on that. Let's keep going. So we've got, the Dallas Farmers Market. Oh my gosh, you want a fun day? Go to the Dallas Farmers Market. I have been going down there since I was little. My parents took us every weekend down to the farmers market. They really do have farmers, I know that'll shock you, that sell their fruits and vegetables. And after you go down there time after time, you find the peach lady or the tomato person or the corn on the cob person, or you just start finding your favorite people that have incredible produce and just, they're just delightful to talk to catch up with. They know you after a while. But the other thing down at the farmers market is a whole kind of an artist type of area that's also enclosed, and you can get fresh ice cream. You can get, there's a meat market there for people who live downtown. There's places to eat in there. It's just a treasure trove of greatness. I find lots of good Christmas presents there. It's just a fun place to go hang out for the day. And if you haven't been to downtown Dallas in a while, then probably a good way to go see it again. So I'm going to talk about some of these others as we go through. So I'm going to keep going, Candace. So we talked about the Dallas Zoo, and like I said, the DART rail will take you right there. You don't even have to drive. I mean, how easy is that? I think the DART rail is $1. It's like nothing to ride it, and it takes you right there. Spend the day. The zoo has increased. It's it's wonderful. And sometimes they'll do, especially during Halloween, they'll do the zoo at night, which is also kind of a fun thing. So the Dallas World Aquarium is one of my favorite things. It's actually in downtown Dallas, kind of towards the West End, between downtown and the West End. And it is, it's privately owned, and there's aquatic life in there that I had never seen before. There's a seahorse that looks like a plant. He's not solid like a normal seahorse is. The edges of them are like a plant, so they just blend in.
They're almost feathery.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Those are fascinating to me. But they also have the
manatees.
Yes, but where the rainforest. Sorry, yeah. I couldn't figure out what part of the country I was supposed to be in. There's a whole rainforest there. You can walk in there and the monkeys are jumping and swinging and doing, and the birds so there's a rainforest there, and then there's a whole aquatic center. They've got penguins, they've got, it is amazing. I mean, that is an incredible time to go down there. They used to have a great restaurant down there. Again, I don't know if it's still open, but they had a great restaurant at that. So we're going to talk about some of this other stuff. So I'm going to get to the Arts District and all that. So let's keep going here. As well as, so some things you might not know about, the Federal Reserve is right there, kind of the edge of uptown before you go into downtown.
It's right across the street from Clyde Warren Park.
Yeah, but on the north side,
yes.
On the kind of uptown side. The Founders Plaza is a fun place to go look. You might not know that there's a whole flight museum at Love Field, on the edge of Love Field. So that would be on the east edge of Love Field, actually off of Lemon Avenue, or turns into Marsh at some point there. But there's a wonderful flight museum there. It is. You can walk in stuff. The kids can see it. They actually have one of the satellites that went up. So it's really, that's an impressive museum as well. The Galleria, it's an indoor shopping mall, and that may not be a fun thing to do, but as much rain as we've had, maybe that's a good way to spend the day. But at Christmas, oh my gosh, at Christmas, they have the largest Christmas tree in the center of the skating rink. And that's the other point there, is that there's an ice skating rink there. So that's kind of a fun thing to do, especially on a hot day.
I was going to say, you might want to go there to go escape the heat.
Exactly, that might be a good thing to do. The George Bush Library is on the SMU campus there off of 75 and Mockingbird. It is fabulous. I don't know that I was aware how much went on during his administration. We think about 9/11, of course, being the most tragic and the most epic event. But when you go to see his library, and it's so much of it's interactive, oh my gosh, it really is impressive. You can point on a map and it'll tell you what happened. It's the whole thing's just really, really wonderfully interactive. The whole 9/11 part of it is also very, very well done. And so, yeah, you just don't realize how much happened during his administration. It's a wonderful library. I was there. They had the fashion of all of the presidential, the first ladies throughout time had their actual clothes on exhibit, and that was cool. So they have exhibits within the exhibit sometimes that you can watch for. We're going to talk about West End, and we're going to talk about Harbor, Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, and of course Six Flags. I mean, that's, if you just want an amusement park and you just want a fun day, then go out to Arlington and go spend the day at Six Flags. That's just always a fun day. I don't care who you are, how old you are. That's just a fun day. And
that one's completely open now. You don't have,
yes.
It's not timed or anything, so you can go at any point.
Yeah, and you just go across the highway and Hurricane Harbor's right there, and that's another just fun day. In fact, it might be kind of fun just to go get a hotel out in Arlington and just stay out there. And there's the Wax Museum. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff out there. And so that just, and the ballpark, oh my gosh, yeah. I don't even think we talked about that in here, but the new ballpark is incredible. I have been there for a game, and it's now indoors. And so Oh my, it is really, really impressive. And of course, the Cowboy Stadium's out there as well. And so, yeah, that's just might be just a fun thing to go hole up and go see a game and go to Six Flags and go to Harbor. That'd be a fun time too. You don't have to go far to have entertainment around here. That's
You
what I
can,
love.
yeah, you completely do a staycation, you know.
Absolutely. There's no reason to have to get on an airplane or drive somewhere hundreds of miles when all of this is at our back door. It's just great. The John F. Kennedy Memorial Plaza is, you know, for people from out of town, especially, I think those of us who live here would like to forget that ever happened here. But there is a whole museum and a whole plaza that's certainly worth taking a look at for out of town people. Clyde Warren Park is, for me, between the Arts District and Clyde Warren Park, are the jewel of our city, as far as I'm concerned. When I was traveling around Europe and I saw all the parks and all there's tables and chairs and people are out there and they're enjoying it, and I thought, oh, that would never work in Dallas. Well, it is, it has, and it's a fabulous place to hang out. Clyde Warren Park was built over the highway, built over Woodall Rogers Freeway. So when you're driving, you actually go under the tunnel because it was built to connect uptown and downtown so that you could just go back and forth across. So it is a huge, huge green space. And the best thing about it, among other things, is all the food trucks. The food trucks, and I'm talking gourmet food trucks. We're not talking your mom's old food trucks. We're talking food trucks. You can get everything from snow cones to gourmet meals there. It's incredible. The food trucks are all up and down there during lunch and around dinner time. You can go to concerts there. They have fitness class, yoga classes, right, and fitness classes there. They have all kinds of stuff. You can check out games. So you could check out like checker games or a chess set or stuff for the kids to do. Yeah, books can be checked out and just go hang out and read. It is just a joyful place to go. And as downtown workers, a place to get out and go have lunch and come back to work and be refreshed. It's just
one of the strangest things I ate out of the food truck was little tiny tater tots with drizzled marshmallows and chocolate.
Okay,
and
no. And you know I love marshmallows.
I know you do. And at first the guy was like, "You got to try this. It's our special today." And I was like, that just sounds terrible. It took me almost 3 bites before I could get my mind around what I was eating before I could actually enjoy what I was eating. But yeah, there are some interesting things. You know, some of the chefs down there will play around with food, so they'll have like a specific thing for that day.
Yeah.
If you can get your mind set around it and move past it's really good. Yeah, it's really good and enjoyable to like embrace the culture and embrace what's going on down there,
right.
and actually share what the chefs are doing and trying to be creative.
Yeah, it's a fun place to go hang out. That's just another fun way to spend the day, spend the afternoon, go down to the farmer's market and then come over and hang out at the food trucks. The Latino Cultural Center is also just wonderful. It's on the west side of downtown, and it's impressive. If you just the structure itself is truly impressive. And then Lower Greenville it's a whole other part of Dallas that is I don't know if the truck yard is back, but they have a whole food truck area down there as well off of a side street. All the food truck guys hang out there. But really Lower Greenville, you can take 5 steps and go to a different place to eat. Take another 5 steps and go to another place to eat. It's full of, you know, cool bars and restaurants, and it's just got a cool vibe down there. That's all there is to it.
It's a great place to go do like a progressive dinner, you know, have drinks and then appetizers and dinner and I mean, like you could just eat your way down the street.
Exactly. Get your favorite things and eat all the way down. Eat your way to Lower Greenville. Yeah, that's definitely. So coming along, we've got the model trains is now a permanent exhibit at the Children's Hospital at the which is off of 35, the Children's Medical Center. And those trains are usually at North Park during Christmas. They have a huge model train exhibit at North Park Mall, but they set it up as a permanent exhibit as well at the hospital. And you can imagine the children's joy at seeing that when there's not a lot of joy going on there. Let's talk about our fabulous arts district, starting with the Mort Meyerson Symphony Center. If you've not ever had the joy of going to a symphony or any, even Christmas, they have Christmas concerts there. They have different kinds of concerts there, but the symphony at the Mort Meyerson is, the sound system is unbelievable. The ceiling comes and goes to accommodate whatever music they have there. So the sound system is unsurpassed. It's just a delight to be there. And right by there is the Dallas Art Museum, the Trammell Crow, excuse me, the Trammell Crow exhibit is there as well, the Nasher Sculpture exhibit. It's all within a square block. So you've got the Meyerson, the art districts are right in front of you, and behind you is the Winspear Opera Center and the Wiley Performing Arts Center. It's all just in one, and then Clyde Warren Park's across the street. So everything is all within one row there that is entertainment, live entertainment. That's the operative word. It is live entertainment at its finest. There's even a school of fine arts there. The Booker T. Washington School is a magnet school for the arts, and it's located in that area as well. And so it just makes for a great little tight-knit arts district. It's just perfect. The Biblical Arts Museum is well worth your time to go see. It's by North Park. It's across the street from North Park Mall, and it's also just something you ought to do once in your lifetime if you've never been there. We talked about the Nasher Sculpture exhibit and the old Red Courthouse. That was the original courthouse. It's at the edge, almost by the Kennedy Memorial down there, and so you see it when you're down there. But that's also worth a look if you're just wandering through downtown. But it is at the edge of downtown, almost on the west side.
And there are so many weddings. They have a whole upstairs area that's this banquet area that I wouldn't have ever thought for a wedding, but all those windows pour in this beautiful light, and it's gorgeous. That staircase, whenever the brides go up that staircase and coming, it really is a beautiful place.
Yeah, who would think you got married at the Little Red Courthouse? Pegasus Plaza is another off of Ackerd. That's downtown as well. The water gardens are down there. I think we're going to see that shortly. Are also down there, and that's an area that is it's just fountains. It's just it's mesmerizing. I mean, you could just sit there and just be lulled into the water garden area. Also downtown, and another jewel of our city that's fairly new to us, is the Perot Museum of Natural Arts and Sciences. That's across the highway from Clyde Warren Park. So you've got the Arts District on the south side, you've got Clyde Warren Park that connects it all, and then you have the Perot Museum, which is the funky looking building with the side thing to it. And again, that is also totally interactive. Totally. The kids will love it. I personally think it's very hard to get through it in one day. I think it's a lot. There's a lot to see, and it's worth, yeah.
There's floors. I mean, just the engineering floor alone to get through all sides of it and the middle of it is really overwhelming, because everything is very interactive, and everything is, you want to touch it, everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can chase a cheetah. You can, are you faster than a cheetah? Are you faster
Yes.
than a baseball pitch? So yeah, and if you want to enjoy that, and especially if you have kids with you, you want to stop and play and do and see. So I'm just telling you, it might take more than one day to get through it. That's all. Just saying.
And they also have different exhibits. Like I think it
Yeah.
was last year they had the Guinness World Records exhibit downstairs. So you get to walk through and see all of those pieces. So every time they have got different events.
Yeah. And if you're downtown, you need to stop at Reunion Tower. That's the big ball that you see in downtown. And at night, it lights up different ways. If the Mavericks are playing, you'll see it in Maverick colors. And if the Cowboys are playing, you'll see it in Cowboy colors. And at Valentine's, you'll see it with hearts. They change the light show all the time on that. But there's a restaurant at the top, and it circles. The restaurant circles while you're sitting there, so you get to see a 360-degree view of Dallas as you're up there. So that's just a fun night. So the Samurai Collection is another one that's downtown as well. You could just stay in downtown for days, couldn't you? The Sculpture Garden and the Asian art, the Crow Asian Art Museum is right across from the sculpture, the Nasher Sculpture exhibit. Of course, we talked about Six Flags, and that's just one of my favorites. The Sixth Floor Museum at Dealey Art Plaza. We talked about the Kennedy Memorial, but they also have a whole museum across the street at the Dealey building, which is just kind of right across the street from it.
And plan to be there. If you go to the Sixth Floor Museum, do make sure to go ahead and get the headset, because it is really helpful. Yes, you are going to be there for a couple of hours, but if you don't have the headset and you're just walking around, you don't get to feel what's actually going on, because it's very interactive. So I highly suggest getting the headphones. The
Bush Library is that way too. I think the headphones are very helpful in getting you through it. This is one that was new to me. I mean, I knew about the Texas Discovery Gardens, but I did not know they were open year round. That was a new discovery for me. This is at the State Fair, and we're going to talk about the State Fair at length here shortly, but this is a permanent exhibit there, and I've seen it during the fair, but like I said, I didn't know that it was open all the time, so it'd be worth going back. But it's just full of, they have 7.5 acres of native and adaptive plants, and so the whole butterfly exhibit, and it's just impressive. Thanksgiving Square is also downtown, and I just was there. It's so funny. I was just there last week, and you just forget how wonderful Thanksgiving Square is. It just brings everyone together. It's just that. It's Thanksgiving Square. It is. It's really well done, and it's a quiet place to go walk through, and you'll enjoy it. It's wonderful. So moving along. Uptown and West Village. So the trolley takes you to West Village. It doesn't take you as far as, it takes you to Uptown and West Village. And then I'm going to add one other one there that we'll see here shortly, is the Knox-Henderson area. So up and down McKinney goes north and Cole goes south. So there's our one-way streets coming and going out of downtown. And it takes you through the Uptown area, which is just north and west, I guess, of downtown, and there's shopping and there's bars and there's restaurants, and it's just a great place to hang out. And as you come on up into Knox Street, Knox goes across the highway to Henderson, so it's Knox-Henderson, and again there's shops, and they're unique shops. You don't find, West Village has maybe a few national brands, but for the most part, Deep Elm, Uptown, Knox Street are all unique stores. They are not, you don't find them elsewhere. You might find the Gap or something down at West Village, but for the most part, it is all privately owned. Yeah, privately owned.
And you want to bring a camera with you or have your phone ready, because you're going to see things you're never going to see anywhere else in a store, ever.
That's the way I feel about the farmer's market in that store. There's so much cool stuff there.
Yeah.
I just love that. So, and then lastly is White Rock Lake, which is near and dear to my heart because I lived there for a really long time. And it's a 10-mile bike and hike around the lake. It's 10 miles around the lake, and it's a beautiful trail around the lake. We're going to talk about the bike and hike trails in just a little bit, but White Rock Lake is just a good place to go hang out. You can rent paddle boards there, you can rent kayaks, and if you take the kayak, you can sit outside and listen to the arboretum, listen to the music at the arboretum. So that's kind of a fun thing to do at night too. But yeah, there's a lot of recreational things to be done. That it is not a motorboat lake. It is not, I think the largest, maybe a 5 horsepower, 10 horsepower. Mainly it's a sailing lake. It's a really big sailing lake and a really tough sailing lake because the winds will be going this way and then it'll hit you going that way. So sailors who are not particularly proficient find it very difficult to sail on that lake. But sometimes you'll run into some regattas there, and but it's just a lazy lake. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's just a hang around and just enjoy the outdoors kind of a lake. So you'll find the Cultural Bath Center there as well. And they often will have art fairs there. They might have some live entertainment there. There's some things around the lake, buildings that are around the lake that have been there since the 20s. And the Cultural Bathhouse is one of them.
Well, also at the Cultural Bathhouse, the parrots.
Yes, there's a whole colony of wild parrots there around White Rock Lake. That so yeah, it's so weird when you see there's like, that's a parrot, and it's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, the funniest thing I think of is the parrots and the peacocks in that area.
Yes,
because you don't expect to see peacocks and parrots whenever you're in Dallas.
That is true. That's on the other side by Flagpole Hill are the peacocks that they have at the farm there. So, all right, what else do we have? As you can see, guys, there's a lot to see. There's a lot to do. If you are hungry and don't have any money, this is not the city to be in, because you'll be drooling the whole time you're here. You can eat as inexpensive as you want and be really good food, and you can spend as much money as you want and have really good food. We have some world-renowned chefs in this city, but we also have some really great, just laid back, put on a pair of jeans and go. You know, it's just we have all kinds of places to eat that span from one thing to another. We have incredible ice cream and custard in this city too.
Oh yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation. All right, next.
Well, these restaurants are just centered around the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Center, so these are just directly in downtown. So if you were at the art districts and things like that you're just spending time, these are great places to head up while you're down there.
Right, or if you're at the convention center at a function, then this is places to eat, and then maps it out for you. So yes. All right, onward we go. So travel through time. We talked about most of these: the Sixth Floor Museum, the George Bush Library, the Perot Museum. It does step you back in time. The Dallas Museum of Art, and the National Sculpture Exhibit, the Holocaust. We haven't talked about the Dallas Holocaust Museum. That's a fairly new museum for us, and it's around the corner from the Dealey Plaza and the Perot Museum. It's kind of on the back side of that. And it is also it's fabulous. It just opened, and so we're really proud of that. Really proud of that. The Frontier Flight Museum we talked about, which is at Love Field, and the Meadows Museum is actually on the SMU campus, and you'll see the iconic wave, that wave thing that you see right there. It actually moves, and it was an art installment that was put in when the museum opened. And also the SMU campus, I think, is also beautiful. It's tree lined. It's a beautiful campus. They've kept it in the Edwardian style. Even as they built new buildings, they kept them all in the original Edwardian style. And so it's a really beautiful campus to wander through. But the museum is actually at the very end of it, or I guess at the beginning of it, off of Mockingbird. And that's a great place to go as well. So let's see, we've talked about the Oh, the Museum of Geometric and Matty Art. That's on Carlisle. That's in Uptown area. The African Museum. Oh wow, that's in Fair
Fair
Park.
Park.
And I don't know if that's open year round. I do know it's always open during the fair. I would need to check and see if it's still, you would want to check on that, make sure it's reopened since COVID.
And speaking of that, just to let everybody know that's listening, if you're going to go to any of these places, I would highly suggest making a phone call, because a lot of their times that are posted either on their website or on Google might not be accurate right now, because everybody's got a flex schedule that's happening. So either their time specifically for the time that you need to arrive, or they might have moderated times that they might be open weekly. So just kind of know that.
And that's true for restaurants now too. There, a lot of the restaurants that never took a reservation now are finding that they're having to take reservations. So you just might want to check. We've seen all these, Candace. Let's keep going here.
Okay.
Oh, the Firefighter Museum, that is so cool. That's down across from Fair Park as well. And that's really fun. It's right there, right on the other side of the street. The Hurd Natural Science Museum, oh my gosh, and Wildlife Sanctuary. I remember when that first opened. It is say how many acres? It's really a huge wildlife sanctuary.
It's huge.
In the middle of the city. It's up around, it's up in McKinney. So you think of McKinney and Frisco and Allen and all of that as just being houses, right? There can't be anything up there. It's just houses. But oh my gosh, that is an oasis in the middle of the city. That's really incredible. There's a lot of parks up there. Breckenridge Park goes on and on and on up there in that area as well. So there's a lot of really cool parks. But the Hurd Museum, that's well worth the effort.
And the dinosaurs are really cool too, as you're walking.
Yeah. And the Railway Museum also, that's in Plano. So we got all of the transportation museums taken care of here, flight and all the rest moving along here.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Exactly. We got it covered. So if it's more culture that you want, then here's a whole page full of that. Everything from the Children's Theater, which is right off of Skillman and Northwest Highway, the MAC, which is in Uptown. It's got there's so much to do here, guys. The Mexico Institute, the Majestic Theater is a great place to go watch theater, and also music events are there. So we haven't even talked about the AT&T Center, where you can watch everything from hockey to basketball to Elton John. I mean, it's just from one extreme to another. That's a huge venue, and it's open for all kinds of events, just all kinds of events. We've got the Kitchen Dog Theater, the Murder Mystery Players. That's a fun thing. We talked about the Latino Cultural Center. Oh, Fair Park Music Hall. Oh my gosh, that's the original music hall in our city. And every year they have an incredible lineup. The Wiz is getting ready to come. Hamilton's coming there. We have a lot of the major touring companies from New York come through and come through there. And every year during the summer season, spring and summer, we have the whole list of things that you can go see of live theater there.
Yeah, summer music. If you go to their music hall at Fair Park, I know a lot of stuff is being modified right now or delayed, but so many shows go through there, and it's a neat experience to go, and it's a treat to go, and all of the cast at the very end, they all come out the side. So if you hang out on the side, you'll see all the cast members come out afterwards, and you get to kind of do a meet and greet with everybody.
Yeah, the Pegasus Theater is a small little theater off of Mockingbird. The Pocket Sandwich Theater also on Mockingbird, which is also just a small little, as is the Kitchen Door Theater. They're smaller venues, but have some great theater there. Some local theater is also, yeah. We have good theater here. That's not hard to find.
No, it's not.
So I want to talk about the state fair because I love it. I've been going since I was old enough to walk. It started and I love the history of this because in 1936, Texas celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Texas Republic, and it was a World's Fair. Back then, they called them a World's Fair, meaning that it was, one place, everyone went to one place for a World's Fair. Well, it's 277 acres of a park. We are so blessed to have that in our city. I don't think people realize what a gift that much land devoted to this type of a venue is. The Cotton Bowl is there as well. Used to be, the Texas and Oklahoma rivalry was always there. And now I think it's moved over to the Cowboy Stadium. But every year we have the State Fair of Texas. It starts around September and it goes through October. And it's just, if you live in Dallas, you shouldn't miss it. And again, get on the dart rail, dumps you right out of the front door, go home the same way. And it's people watching at its best. It's incredible food. They figure out how to fry everything. I mean, name it and they fry it. It's just eat your way through the fair. It's people watching, it's games. It's just special. So.
Yeah, and I've met so many people still today that have lived here their entire lives and have not been to the state fair. And I'm like, that's like a staple every year, no matter what. We go to the state fair. I mean, in multiple times. We don't just go one time. You've got to go multiple times.
Yeah.
You've got to go, you need to spend time just like walking around and looking at all the stuff to buy. Then you go another time just to eat the food. Then you go another time just to take the rides. So, I mean, you got to go specific.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of, there's the Food and Fiber Museum. There's all kinds of buildings to go into. It's probably the largest car show in America. Mm-hmm. Every new car available is at the state fair in this one automobile building. So it is worth it. It just, don't listen to anyone say anything about it. It's worth everything to get there. All right. What's next? I love.
Well, here's some of the things to do at the fair.
Yes, yeah, and I'm not going to go through all of those, but when you're there, you can see why there's so much to do that you could spend a whole day just doing the buildings before you ever get to go in anywhere. So, so yes, all right. So moving along, Food and Fiber has free food. The great outdoors. This was what is so impressive to me, and I'm not going to go through every one of these, but if outdoors are your thing. Let's start clicking through here, Candace, because it's just amazing. Bachman Lake is the lake that you see right out of Love Field. As you land or take off, you usually land or take off over Bachman Lake, usually land. It's fun to go there and just sit there and watch the planes come over. It's like, whoa, they're right there. But you can also paddleboard and kayak there as well. You'll also see some rowing teams working out there as well. There are trails and parks all over. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of wilderness type of backwoods hiking and biking. And they're all listed here. And it's something that is really impressive is just our bike and hike trails. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of dedicated bike and running and walking trails through Dallas. You can go from downtown all the way north to McKinney and be on a bike and hike trail. And there's maps, which I think is in here. It's a map of the hike and bike, which we'll get to in a minute. But just know that you can go all the way through uptown, stop at the ice house and grab something to drink, just saying, all the way around the city. That is an impressive addition to our city that just keeps getting added to. They're getting ready to put one, or they're in the middle of putting one. I don't know if it got stopped because of all the rains, but around Moss Park, which is there off of Greenville Avenue. It's a huge soccer complex, large amount of land that was left to the city by the Moss family, and they're adding trails and stuff all around there as well. So you can go in the heart of the city, or you can just drive 20-30 minutes. The Trinity is the largest amount of hardwood forest in the United States. Did we know that was in our back door? You can also, the Audubon Center is now through the Trinity. Just exploring the Trinity alone is worth looking into. That whole, it's just been added to and added to, and it's wonderful. So if you want to, if outdoors is your thing, go to the outdoor section here and look and see what all there is, because there's pages of it. Candace, you can flip through them real quick if you want.
Yes, I was just going to let them know. So you're talking about the link for the map. So if you go to this page right here in the top section, there is actually a link, because the trails get updated so frequently. There's 158 miles right now of trails in Dallas. So just if you go to this link, you'll be able to go take a look at everything.
And again, when we say Dallas, guys, it goes up into Richardson and Plano, and I mean, it just goes. You can go all the way around White Rock Lake and connect over into Deep Ellum and come on around into downtown, hook up to the AA Center, to the American Airlines Center, get on the trail there and head north on the Katy Trail and hook back up around to the Santa Fe Trail, which takes you back around to White Rock. So you can go in a huge circle just around Dallas, but there's so many beautiful, beautiful places to go in Dallas. It's just, and again, I say Dallas, I mean the whole Metroplex. It's impressive. So, like I said, if you want to be cultured, you can see every museum and every theater there is and every symphony there is. And if you want to get outdoors, it's there for you. And as I expressed early on, I think some of you might not have been on yet, but honestly, I love our city because you can get as involved as you want to be involved, or you can be as loner as you want to be a loner and have something to do. A staycation is a great way to spend your time this summer. Travel is just hard, and it's full and all of that. It's not as easy as it is, oh, let's just decide to go out of town and go do that. But the good news is, again, we're 3 hours away from Austin. We're 3 hours away from Oklahoma. We're just, nothing is that far away from here that if you want to go get away, go to Broken Bow. Oh my gosh, you want wonderful. Broken Bow is incredible. So there's so many little places that you can go to within an hour to 3 hours out of Dallas. Salado, which is between here and Austin, just a great little city. Stagecoach Inn, that's where the stagecoaches used to stop coming through, going into Austin and back and forth from Dallas. And there's all kinds of little shops there and that kind of thing. So you can go to any major mall or any major shopping area and find all the national brand stores. But what I love about all of these other areas is that they're all unique, wonderful little shops that you don't find anywhere else. And that's my kind of shopping is if I can shop local, I'm going to support local. Not that I don't like you national people, but if I can support local, I will always support local. And that's just something that I'm thrilled that they're in our city. I'm thrilled that they've taken the time and the money to open. And so whatever I can do to support them, I'm always happy to do that. So if you ever want to know what to do around Dallas and you're in question, just go to info@dallasnative.com. Tell us what you like to do and we'll tell you where to go. But Candace did link the book that you all saw today. There's a link in the chat box. And so you can go to that, you can refer to it, you can share it, you can whatever. But anyway, I think our time is up. I can't believe, I think we've taken the entire time today. I thought this would be short, sweet, and to the
Me
point.
too.
But there's so much to do around Dallas. I love sharing my city with people. And so I probably do go a little overboard, but what can I say? I love our city. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.